Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter, or of course you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. I did promise you guys a second video when I brought you the Lennox Lewis goes in on Tyson Fury video. Unfortunately, something came up that day and I wasn't able to record. So here I am a couple of days later. Unfortunately, I've only had about 90 minutes sleep last night. Long story. But if I look, sound and feel like an extra from The Walking Dead, I do apologize. Please bear with me if I just start nodding off and falling asleep and my head hits the microphone. Just wait, I will wake up and I will carry on with the video. But here I am trying to bring you guys content. You see the dedication of Chris Andre here for you guys, for my subscribers. I hope you enjoy it. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, and notifications button. And now let's talk boxing. One of the stories that has really riled me up is Dmitry Bivol has yet to be paid. He's owed $5 million for his fight against Canelo Alvarez. This is because of the situation occurring with his nation, basically, because of the sanctions. Look, he has come out and he said, you know, we really need to sort the situation out. My manager, Vadim Kornilov, is the guy with the headache now in trying to find a solution to this. Guys, this is ridiculous, man. It's yet another dark chapter in the list of disgraceful chapters that he's had to deal with. Like I've said in a previous video, individual citizens are not responsible for the acts of their governments, regardless of where you stand on this situation, regardless of what your political position is. It doesn't matter. This is a private citizen who is not responsible for any of this. He put his life on the line to be able to provide for his family in the biggest fight of his life. He had to jump through hoops. He was disrespected in various ways. Pay the man. Let the man have what he earned. He comes across like a really nice guy. He's done nothing wrong. When the UK, when the United States, when our governments that we are citizens of, I know I've got subscribers from all over the world, shout out to all you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you, but when I look at the YouTube breakdown, the majority of my subscribers come from the UK and the United States, so I'm referring predominantly to you. When our nations were guilty of being engaged in various conflicts that did not have a legal recourse behind them, according to other nations, where our governments acted unilaterally, where we were taken to wars on false pretenses. Many of us were against those actions. Many of us were against those wars. We protested against those conflicts. Even those that did not and don't understand foreign policy, don't understand politics, and just aren't involved and have no concept of what's going on. These people are not directly responsible for the actions of elites that do not send their own children to these conflicts. Okay, he has done nothing wrong. Pay the man. I've also spoken in the previous video about how during World War II, after Pearl Harbor occurred, Japanese Americans, these were Americans of Japanese origin, were placed inside internment camps. They were imprisoned in camps for the duration of the war because they weren't trusted. These people did nothing wrong. They worked in restaurants, they were cleaners, they were doing whatever jobs they were doing. They were innocent people. How can a government just refuse to pay its citizens? It's ludicrous, and boxing needs to come behind these people. I know Kathy Duva's spoken up already. She has a history of working with fighters like Bivol, like Kovalev, but even those that don't have links with fighters from that part of the world, they need to start speaking up. This is ludicrous. Pay the man his money. Moving on from that, let's talk about Ben Whittaker. He has signed for Boxer on Sky, so he'll be on Sky Sports. A massive coup for them. DAZN really wanted to sign him, and I can understand why, right? This is a guy who's got a lot of charisma, highly talented amateur, Olympic silver medalist, really talented fighter. He's also signed with HILL Steward as a trainer. Now, a lot of people are surprised by this. We'll talk about why that could potentially work in a moment. But it's a huge coup for Boxer, and I think I can understand the thought process behind why maybe he would go with Sky when he's still trying to build his profile. You know, DAZN I think is a terrific platform. I'm a big fan. I'm a subscriber myself. I do think Eddie Hearn, despite a lot of the criticism that he gets, and I know he's going through a bad time, I do think he is possibly the best promoter in the world. He's charismatic. He's a brilliant salesman. He's in touch, I believe, with the sort of social media world, and he's done a terrific job with that. I love the fact that he's approachable by different news outlets, and Yeah, all right, he's been biting up a little bit at IFL TV of late and Umar and stuff like that. But generally speaking, you can throw anything you want at him and he's cool with it. He'll give you the time of day. Other promoters will deny access to reporters and stuff like that. So I like Eddie Hearn. I like what he's doing, okay? However, when it comes to DAZN, although I think it's a terrific platform, I think it has one major disadvantage when it comes to Sky. When you're talking about somebody that wants to build up their stock, basically, when you're talking about a prospect who needs to build himself up as a star, and that is that it does not have access, not to television, as Frank Warren says. Frank says it's just an app. You can get this app on most smart TVs. I think the big disadvantage, though, is Sky Sports News. And I actually think it's a disadvantage that BT Sport also had. For non-British viewers out there, Sky Sports has a news channel, which is a 24/7 sports news channel. So it just recycles the different sports news of the day every hour, or whatever it is, every half an hour. They've got different presenters, they freshen it up and stuff, but they're recycling it and then they'll bring breaking news. Now, it might sound boring to a lot of people. How often, how long are you going to spend watching that? But I know an awful lot of people who will have it on 24/7 in their offices. If they're working from home, they've got it on TV in the background. Big sports fans who are crossover fans, who are casual fans. The sort of people that will follow boxing for the big fights. Bear in mind, to build yourself up, to build your stock up, if you're Ben Whittaker, you're not talking really to people like you and I, the hardcore fans. If you're here watching this channel, you're probably a hardcore fan. Or, as I've been told by a few people that follow the channel, I'm a casual, but I want to become a hardcore boxing fan, and I'm learning a lot from your channel. And that's very flattering to me. So I thank you guys. But the point is, there are people that want to become really hardcore. Ben Whittaker, regardless of whether he's on Sky, BT, DAZN, he's going to be seen by the hardcore. When it comes to the casuals, though, it's not even those watching football and you hear at halftime or full time, this weekend Tyson Fury's fighting, because you get that on BT Sport. You also get that on Sky. That is also a big benefit, right? And it would help if DAZN were able to get some football rights. But I feel that the Sky Sports News aspect is more important, because that's the advantage I feel that Sky also has over BT. It's this recycled news, like constant advertisement. And so I understand why he's gone down that route. Having said that, DAZN are starved for stars at the moment in the UK, something Hatman has spoken about consistently. He could have found a void. DAZN could have really pushed him there. Whereas with Boxer, they've got quite a few now, good British names. I'm sure they're going to push him too, don't get me wrong. But the point is that with DAZN there was a void, so maybe he would have been better off going there. I did read that apparently Boxer had offered more money, so maybe he went for the money. My brother knows or has met and spoken to on numerous occasions his father, and he says that he's a really nice guy. My brother says his dad's a really good dude, so they come across like quite a good family, and he's going to have some stability behind him, which is important, because it's easy to get sort of distracted when everyone's laying the red carpet for you. Having said that, it's a major advantage, and he's a decorated Olympian, highly skilled fighter, very charismatic. I've got no doubt that he's going to be a superstar. With regards to his trainer, the trainer that he's taken on, a lot of people were surprised by this, a Kronk sort of philosophy with an amateur fighter like this. Well, listen, there's something you've got to consider as well, though. He's gone with HILL STEWARD. The Kronk style often fits quite well with people of his physical construct. Tall, he's 6'3" and he's light heavyweight. Tall, rangy, right? Think of Tommy Hearns, think of Mark Breland. Lennox Lewis was very tall for a heavyweight. Tyson Fury's very tall for a heavyweight. And they're not necessarily big, bulky type guys. They're tall, sort of skinny type guys, right? Lanky dudes. Perhaps he's going to be able to marry that sort of style with bringing, getting in behind that long jab and then bringing that right hand into play, an aggressive approach with the Kronk philosophy. That could really bring a new wrinkle to the game of Ben Whittaker. We know he's a brilliant natural sort of technical boxer. We've seen that in the amateurs, Olympic silver medalist. And I love the fact, by the way, that in the Olympics he looked gutted that he did not win the gold. He looked gutted. And I remember a couple of weeks ago I was tweeting in the build up to the Oscar Valdez fight where people were mocking Shakur Stevenson for crying, and I was saying, you guys need to understand, he was crying when he did not win Olympic gold. Let that sink in as to how important that was to the kid. You're a boxer, you're in a sport of machismo, right? You want to put it out there, you're a tough guy, and you're crying like a little baby, like a 7-year-old girl who's just had a doll confiscated from her. You're crying like that on national TV. Well, you shouldn't mock that or undermine that. You should try and understand the mindset of Shakur Stevenson. For you to be willing to put yourself in that embarrassing situation on national TV, imagine how hurt he was. Imagine how embarrassed he was to have lost. And that can be a driving factor for perfection and success. And Ben Whittaker wasn't crying like that, but he looked devastated for getting the silver medal. So he's definitely a kid you've got to look out for. I think he's got the right mentality as well. Moving on from that, let's talk about Dmitry Bivol one more time really quickly. It's something that I forgot to mention before. Alexander Povetkin, who long-time subscribers will know I thought was a terrific heavyweight, a huge underachiever. I thought he was brilliant as a fighter. He came out and he said that Dmitry Bivol was a great boxer. He had a great fight. He won the judges over. He boxed calmly with discipline, which is something that sometimes I didn't have, and I would emotionally rush forward. He's rightfully one of the best boxers in the world at the moment. There are no questions here. The Soviet boxing school outplayed Canelo Alvarez. Now, I want you to consider what he's saying here, because there's a psychological aspect, and we spoke about that a couple of videos ago about the psychological aspect of Dmitry Bivol, that he is a predator. He's calm and calculated, but he has predatory instincts. And I found it interesting that Alexander Povetkin spoke about his ability to remain calm, even when he himself, a former Olympic gold medalist, said that that's something he struggled with. Having control over your emotions whilst being very confident and calculating in the ring is a very, very important and sometimes deadly attribute to have in your favor. So that's just something else that I wanted to add in reference to the previous videos that I've put out. In other news, FELIX Verdejo, who has been accused of carjacking, kidnapping and the murder of his unborn child's mother, his girlfriend, Keisha Marlon Rodriguez, last April. The date of that trial has been announced for February the 27th, 2023. This is a horrific story. Of course, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, but if he's found guilty, he deserves everything he's going to get. This was a heinous, heinous crime. And yeah, the trial for that starts next year. It's horrible when you see boxers sort of spiral out of control like that and carry out something so incredibly evil. Hopefully justice is served if he is indeed guilty. And that brings me on to the announcement of a terrific fight that I can't wait for. This is why I love the heavyweight division. I think it's such a stacked division. There are guys that are not considered elite level guys, but are very capable of doing some brilliant things and could perhaps overthrow some of the top level guys. There's such a stacked division there, and we're going to see a brilliant fight coming up. Stylistically so interesting. Hughie Fury will fight Michael Hunter in early July. Boxers Ben Shalom has confirmed. This is a terrific fight, stylistically speaking, because Hughie Fury is brilliant at maintaining range, and when he is on the inside, he can actually fight a little bit on the inside too. One of the problems that Hughie has is that he doesn't use the jab authoritatively enough, in my humble opinion, but he can maintain range when he does, and he does it very, very well. Well, Michael Hunter is fantastic at collapsing range, at reducing range, at entering the pocket. So you're going to have two guys there that are different stylistically, and when Hunter's on the inside, he's also very good. So it's one of those fights that I'm interested in. Let me know what you think. Who do you fancy to come out on top in that particular fight? What other sort of heavyweight fights would you like to see that are, I don't know, out of left field, so to speak? You know, guys that no one's really talking about. I don't want to hear the top level guys. Obviously, everybody wants to see HUGHIE fight, I don't know, one of the other top boys. I'm talking about something a little bit out of left field. What is it you'd want to see? Finally, the WBC has ordered Ryan Garcia against Isaac CRUZ. This is a brilliant clash of styles. You've got Isaac CRUZ, who you know how he's going to fight. He's going to come in low and try and fight like a mini Mike Tyson, winging these big, powerful hooks. And Ryan Garcia, he can fight off the front foot better than people give him credit for. There is work there to be done, but off the back foot is where I think he tends to be really good. He's got very fast hands, a really good counter left hook, so as CRUZ looks to try and close that range, that could be a really interesting fight. We're going to get all technical with these fights when they're going to come up, but it's a good fight that I hope we get to see. Let me know what you think about everything we've chatted about, ladies and gents. Give me your opinion on all that we've covered. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Chat to you soon. God bless.